All right, I'm now joined by a very, very, very special recurring guest, friend of the program. It is new Kansas City Royals relief pitcher Matt Strahm. I don't even know what number appearance this is for you, but I always appreciate you carving out some time for me. Matt, how are we doing?
I'm good. I'm good. And I don't know if it's a new Kansas City Royal or returning, I
New
guess.
old.
Yeah, returning Kansas City Royal. So, but no, excited to be back there for sure.
First time, 2017, I think was your last year there. So a lot has happened in the interim. How does it feel to be a Royal again?
No, I'm very excited with it. Obviously, my ties to Kansas. I went to college there. My wife's family is from the area. So, and we have a farm about 2 hours south of the stadium. Already looked that up, 2 hours and 2 minutes from my rental to my deer stands. So that's exciting. But yeah, no, it's super exciting. Love my time in Philly. Love Philly to death. But if it's not Philly, I'm super excited that it's Kansas City.
That first time having Sal Perez catch you again, would it just be like riding a bike?
Oh yeah, I mean throwing to Salvi, he's like it's like a magnet back there, and the target he gives. I've told everyone everywhere I've went, throwing to Salvi is like throwing to a mini refrigerator. Like it's that big back there, and if you feel like you can get it between his knees, he's gonna keep it in the strike zone. So very excited for that. I've been blessed with all the catchers in my career. I went from Salvi to Austin Hedges, Hedges to Vasquez, Vasquez to JT, and now JT back to Salvi. So, I mean, I don't think you get luckier in a career with catchers.
You've been in great hands. I was
Yeah.
looking back because like I was trying to look at some of your old stuff from Kansas City, and the kind of pitcher you were a decade ago versus now, I think is fascinating. Like in 2016, you were like 80% fastball.
Yeah.
When you think back to that time early in your career in Kansas City, like how long did it take you to kind of like hone that mix, and like what do you remember about coming up with them?
Yeah, I mean, coming up with them, I remember the stress on throwing a changeup, which I have my changeup ready, just need to be told to use it, I guess, because I don't shake much. I like to get on the mound and just do whatever's called. So honestly, how I've pitched has kind of been like how catchers decided to use me. I remember my first couple starts with Philly. I started as a starter, and then with Philly, my first three starts were with Stubbs, and then I think I got fourth or fifth start with JT. And to me, it felt like off speed heavy. And I was like, JT, I know it's not 98, but it plays up, and I like to throw it, so let's throw it more. And that's the only conversation JT and I ever had. I think it was after my second appearance with JT, and after that, I mean, everything's felt good. I was throwing harder when I first came up with Kansas City, 96 to I would sit 95, 96. And now age has caught up a little bit, 92, 94 now. Pop a five here and there. But it's to me, pitching is just attack. And too many guys get caught up in the how nasty it can be. It's like, dude, watch these guys take BP. It's hard to hit a baseball. It's hard to get a hit. And especially now with the defense, I mean, I have had great defenses behind me too, but Bobby Witt and Garcia on my left side, that's pretty cool. And just let the defense work. So I mean, attack the zone is something I've always been doing. Walking people is, I mean, it's like throwing salt in your own wound. Just it's not fun.
I was looking at like when your rookie year in 16, because I think you came up halfway through that season. But to think that like you had a one ERA, what was your mindset after that season? Where you're like, this big league stuff is easy?
No, not at all. I mean, I remember coming into spring next year and like I made a comment about like wanting to make the team and dang, I'm blanking on his name. Our pitching coach, Dave Island. There we go. Dave Island. He's looked at me. He goes, the only way you're not making the team is if something along the lines if I like lose my legs or my arm falls off. And I was like, dang, well, and then it kind of took the stress away, but then, you know, it's it's still I've always wanted to feel like I'm fighting for a job because it just kind of keeps you on your toes. And now with ever since I've been in became a free agent and had a contract, it's kind of been like, okay, now let's see how long I can keep someone from taking my job. Like I have a job, but let's see how long I can keep someone from taking it. Because that's what our industry is. There's three, four levels behind me. They're all wanting my job, and I'm gonna do everything I can to keep it.
That's an interesting perspective from a former All-Star. Like that's every single year. It's like, yeah, you have to prove yourself. Like nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, I firmly believe in kind of the head down and do your work method. I still don't like to look at my. I'm a big anti-numbers guy. I don't like looking at my numbers. I'm sure one day when I'm done and retired, I'll sit down and look back on what I did and maybe appreciate it more then. But yeah, you make the all-star comment. I'm still just a middle reliever trying to win a World Series. So that's how I view it.
Did I break news that you had a 1 ERA your rookie year?
No, that one was told to me by so that actually I didn't end the year with a one. If you go back, my last outing, I gave up a run, but it was kind of like it was a ground ball to Witt's right or left. I can't remember. It was off to his side, and he kind of played it off to his side, and it got scored as a hit. And then I didn't even appeal it. I don't know how, but like 2 days after the season, because we didn't make the playoffs, so I was going home. 2 days after the season, it got switched. So I think I had like a 2.01 or 2.0 something because of that run. And then that run 2 days later got taken off as an error. And I went down to, I think, like a 1, 2, 3. And I remember getting like 8 or 9 text messages like, hey, you finished the year below a two. And I'm like, what? And like, then I looked it up and I saw that. So no, I've seen that one.
You talked in another podcast about just like how the Royals develop great men, good, but also
Hmm.
good athletes. So like, what
Yeah.
did that like functionally look like for you back in those days?
Yeah. For us, I mean, we had a lot of structure, which with structure, there's meetings. And I know a lot of guys get fed up with them. I mean, we're all ball players. That's all we want to do. We don't want to sit in a auditorium and listen to someone speak. But the Royals make it very clear that it doesn't matter if you're a first rounder or like I was a 21st rounder. You all are expected to be at 10 a.m. meetings before 10 a.m. And we don't care if, again, the first rounder's late, he's getting the same punishment as the 21st rounder being late. So that's something Kansas City, I appreciate much more now that I've left and come back, just seeing other organizations. And it's I love structure. I know some people raise the, like, oh, you like rules? Like, I love rules. Rules to me keep everything going smoothly, and you know what's expected of you and you know what's expected of your teammates. So I think that makes it easier to keep each other accountable instead of causing clubhouse tensions with like, hey, why aren't you taking ground balls? And it's like, well, they're optional. It's like, well, dude, optional? Yeah, just like the college optional workout we had back in the day. Like, better be there. But it's Kansas City does a great job of, like I said, the structure they put in there it's to create men it's not instead of ball players, but first and foremost, they're gonna create men before they create all-star baseball players.
Do you think Coach Murray back at a community
Oh,
JUCO days? Do you think he kind of helped instill some of this too?
absolutely, absolutely. Coach Murray's philosophy is spot on to what Kansas City does, and I think that's why it was such a good fit for me, and probably why I don't want to say frustrated, but I feel like I've missed out on some opportunities without structure. Like, I don't want to say we would have won with more structure, but I think structure fixes a lot of problems.
Absolutely. How did you like pitching at Kauffman Stadium with the massive gaps? And then what do you think about the fences being moved back in and shortened?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I got traded, I was like, yes, back to Kauffman, back to the graveyard. And then I think it was like a week later, I got a text from Bobby. It was a group text to all the players, and he's saying, "Hey, we're having a meeting. I think the fences are coming in." And it was like, dang, really? But the adjustments they made, I don't think they touched center field much at all. Actually, I think it's just going. The gaps are coming in about 10 feet. Foul poles are staying the same. One cool thing I do like about it is the fences are going from 10 feet to 8 feet. Because, I mean, as a pitcher, like robbing a home run is one of the coolest things in baseball, I think. So I think the K is a big outfield too. So being able to time it up on a lower fence is going to give those guys more opportunities. And there's no better like the feeling of obviously like the ball getting hit and you know it's a homer, and then the excitement immediately after someone robs it. It's just it's a good feeling. So I think that's going to bring an exciting play to the K, which will be cool.
It's like the quintessential off season. Well, obviously now there's a lot more baseball news, but like when this broke like last week, it was like this is the only news we have in baseball was that the fences are
Oh,
coming in.
yeah.
But is the wind there a thing too? Because I think in the article they were talking about just like it makes it play even 5 feet deeper with all the wind there.
Yeah, they say that, but from my experience playing in the K, because of the way, so I believe the top of the first bowl, like the first bowl of seats, that wherever the what do you guys call it where you walk around? I can't even think about it.
The
I'm in the
concourse?
dugout. So yeah, the concourse. I don't use concourses. I'm in the dugout. The concourse. So where the concourse is in the K, I believe that is ground level. So the playing surface is technically like 15 or 20 feet below the parking lot. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is because when you're down there, you feel wind like out in the bullpen, but then when you get into the mound, you feel like you're below it all and it's just kind of stale. So maybe once the ball is elevated 10 feet, how it affects it, possibly. But when I'm standing on that mound in August, you don't feel a breeze. It's like you're in an oven. It's just chilling. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And it's gonna be cool to see the Kansas City goes cold, hot, cold. Like that's the early season's cold, middle of the season's hot, and then the playoffs are gonna be cold. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the ball plays there with that. So we'll see. Keep
I
it down,
remember,
I guess.
yeah. Well, I remember we had Hosmer on here forever ago, and he was just talking about just like, and completely forgot just like the way the Royals would build their teams. It was like speedy outfield, like doubles and triples. I think even Vinny
Yeah.
Pasquantino had a Twitter thing about this where he was explaining like it's such a great doubles and triples park.
Yep.
Would guys ever talk about just like come back to the dugout after they smoked one and it doesn't leave? Like, would you ever see the frustrations from guys playing at the K?
I mean, you would I think again, that's where Kansas like as a Kansas City Royal know when I'd go there on the road, yeah. But I think Kansas City does a great job of instilling what we're trying to accomplish and teaching their players. Again, if you're a man and you know what you are, you're not going to be frustrated with what you got. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like Hosmer knew he was going to have a bunch of doubles and less home runs. So when he hits the double in the Kauffman, that's a homer in Cincinnati. He knew the cards he was dealt, and he was happy with them. So I would say not. I didn't see it much, but Salvi did joke on the team Zoom about it. He goes, "Dang, I'd have 350 now if they would have moved him in a while back." But yeah, so it's I think yeah, it's everyone everyone has something to complain about at some point in the season. That's just baseball, but we'll see how it goes.
It's a beautiful stadium. I've heard the batter's eye is immaculate. So like guys enjoy like hitting there. Um,
Yeah, that I have heard that, and I might have to start moving around on the rubber a little more to try and get out of that thing.
Speaking of a former Kansas City Royal, our mutual friend Ryan O'Hearn, he came on the podcast last year with O'Grady, and he told a story that just like I still don't fully understand, and I'm hoping you can give a little more background to it. He
Yeah,
said that you bet him that you would hit a major league home run before he did. Is there
yeah.
more to this story?
It was kind of like so O'Hearn and I we go all the way back to rookie ball 2014, and O'Hearn and I have a great relationship where it's brotherly banter. Like I mean, I don't think I've ever once I don't know. I don't think I've ever told him he looks good, if that makes sense. But we still love each other and still talk our talk. And it'd be something as simple as like get on the bus to go to the field, and I'd be like, "Did you get dressed in the dark today?" And I just walk by, and it would just put him in shambles for the whole ride. He's like, "What? Does it not look good?" And like, so just messing with the Hearn has kind of just been our relationship since. a decade ago. And so when I made it up to the big leagues, or no, when I got traded over to San Diego, obviously National League, I believe it was 18 when I got my first, yeah, 2018. It was not opening weekend, but the teams who open up on the roads opening weekend. So we were in St. Louis for their opening day, but it was their home opener, not opening. And anyways, Wainwright's pitching, I'm pitching, and I got a double off Wainwright. That was my first big league hit. And Alan and Anthony, who's also Ryan's agent, is my agent as well. So that's how we also know each other. And I go out to dinner with my agents, and we FaceTime O'Hearn, and it's just friendly banter. And he's like, "Oh, you close your eyes and you got a hit." And I was like, "O'Hearn," and he was in Double A at the time. I don't even think he was on the roster yet. So I was like, "O'Hearn, I'll hit my first big league homer before you." And then we made a friendly wager on it, and yeah, I didn't get my homer. He did. And then I tried to get it delivered in pennies, but I couldn't get anyone to deliver $1,000 worth of pennies. So,
You
but
hit like 290 that year though. So like
yeah,
that's still
no,
incredible.
yeah, I think I have a higher single season average than O'Hearn's ever had. So I'll take that. I'll take that.
Did you hit in college? Like you swing the bat pretty good.
No, I did. So I still give my coach shit about it today. Like, hey, you really messed up a two-way player by just making me pitch when I got to college. And I remember it like yesterday. I stepped on the scale at our first, like our physical day. I stepped on the scale. I was just about 6'1", 143 pounds. And he looked at the scale and he looked at me and he goes, "Why don't we just worry about pitching?" I was like, "All right, whatever." And so, I mean, it worked out. It
Yeah.
didn't pan out fine, but yeah, I miss hitting. I love hitting. And I say all pitchers are pitchers because we couldn't hit or we didn't get the opportunity to hit. We'd all much rather be playing shortstop, hitting leadoff or third than sitting in the bullpen for 6 innings waiting to pitch. But
It's like all like defensive backs wanted to be wide receivers, but they just couldn't catch the ball.
just didn't have the hands. Yeah,
Just didn't have the hands. Um,
exactly.
to see how O'Hearn has turned his career around here after the first 5 years in Kansas City to obviously like become an all star. That's got to be the coolest feeling ever. Like how like happy are you for him, especially getting a big deal
Uh-oh.
this winter?
Yeah, I mean, it's happy to see everyone get paid, but for O'Hearn, like you said, I think I'm not gonna remember exactly what year it was, 18 or 19. He was kind of the role player for Kansas City, and I want to say he had like 100 something at bats only, and just kind of getting looked over, and it's a testament to his work ethic and who he is as a person to kind of stick with that. We see so many guys in our game once they get DFA'd the first time or platooned for the first time, it's kind of like the end of their career and they don't stick with it. But O'Hearn's, like I said, he's an unbelievable human and his work ethic it speaks volumes. I mean, I'm not surprised basically. Like O'Hearn, as long as O'Hearn sticks with it, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, like especially like the mental like side of the game too, because I like being like you said, like the role player in Kansas City not getting the opportunities. I feel like also that's just like a common theme for a lot of guys. It's just like if you don't get the opportunity and you're playing once a week, it doesn't matter who you are. Like you're still gonna be hitting like under 200 and you'll be struggling.
Exactly, exactly. My favorite example of it all is Justin Turner. I mean, look at his Mets career. Like he had a good career, but he kind of never got out of that fifth infielder spot. He kind of was the bench guy, and then want to say the year before free agency is when Wright got hurt and he got to play all the time, and then he signed that big deal with the Dodgers and just turned his career around with. But you look at the first 6 years of Turner's career, like I can't imagine the mental grind that was for him. Like just to show up to the park every day knowing you're waiting to pinch hit. Like that's not what us pitchers didn't dream of that as position players, and I can't imagine a position player ever dreams of that. So it speaks volumes to his work ethic and his mental side of the game to be able to stick with it. And then shoot, what he went from getting DFA'd in 18 or 19 to signing a 2-year free agent deal in 25, 26. So that's cool.
He's gonna be launching balls into the Allegheny now. It's gonna be. Do have you guys already looked at the schedule? Do the Royals and Pirates get together this year?
We do. I don't know where it is, if it's in Pitt or in KC, but we'll have to figure it out for sure.
I know that you both are big supporters of the Angels of Newtown Square up there outside Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Can you tell me first how like you got introduced to those guys?
Yeah. So again, through our agent Alan, he started volunteering his time with them probably shoot 3 or 4 years before I got there, and then he has two players that he works out with. He's very close with their family. Their names are Jimmy and Luke, and they work out with him every morning at his CrossFit gym. And that's actually the CrossFit gym is right next to the gym I worked out at with my brother for the last 3 off seasons. And so first first meeting them and just getting to know them and then showing up to a game is kind of how it all started. Like Alan just told us we need to come out and just experience it one time. And then we went out one Sunday after one of our games in Philly, and it's just infectious. Like, I mean, they're 20 to 30 something year old men playing baseball, and it is their game 7 World Series every Sunday, and it's just fun to watch. And they, like I said, they love baseball, and that's kind of what drew us to them. And now all of a sudden we're getting basketball videos from their basketball league they play in the winter and all this stuff. So yeah, hopefully, I think we go to Pittsburgh this year, so we'll have to get with Alan, and hopefully we're able to figure something out to get those Newtown boys out to Pitt for when O'Hearn and I square off. Because the last time O'Hearn and I squared off, it didn't end well for me, so I need my redemption.
He did make
Need my
sure to bring that
redemption.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
the home
yeah,
run.
yeah. It was. I mean, I could have thrown him a slider in the right hand on deck circle, and he would have swung at it. And I don't know. I tried to blow a heater by him. Didn't work.
I can't wait to see the rematch of this. Yeah. Um, but going back to the Angels though, of the Challenger League, like I think I read like the Inquirer article, and I think my favorite part of that was just like to them, you're just their friend Matt, who also plays baseball, which I thought was like the coolest thing. It's that you're not, you're just like one of the guys. How
Yeah.
long did it take you to like build the relationships up with them, and like how special like is that whole thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time meeting them after one of their games. They always break it down after the game, and I went out there, introduced myself, talking with them, and you could just tell they were, I don't want to say starstruck, but they were excited that a Phillies baseball player was there. And then I would say by the probably even the second, but for sure the third time, it was like, oh, Matt's here. It's no longer the Phillies pitcher. It's Matt's here. Matt's here. And it was kind of funny. Like in last year, we had them all out to the Citizens Bank to give them a tour of the field. And then at the end of it, we surprised them with gloves. And it was all in the media room. And we set it all up on the chairs with their gloves. And the Phillies, like, social media team was like, Matt, we want you to stand right here in front of the door. So when they open it, they're excited. I was like, guys, like they're like, if you want them excited to see a Phillies player, like you should bring someone that's not me, like Kyle or Marshy or Bohm. And I was like, or even the fanatic, they'll be more excited to see them than see me because once these come through the door, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Matt, what's up?" And then they're gonna see their gloves. And sure as shit, as soon as they opened the glove, I think it was Sonny that walked through first, and he's like, "Hi, Matt," and just kept walking by me. And it was like, I told you guys, they're not going to be excited to see me. It's just, oh, Matt's here. Yeah. So, but yeah,
That's the best.
it's good.
That community though of Newtown Square, like it's kind of like a
Awesome.
smaller like outside Philly suburb, right? Kind of community feel.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable. I mean, we were very fortunate to spend the last 3 years there, and yeah, that's definitely aside from missing the guys on the team and in the clubhouse, that's definitely one of the hardest things of leaving Philly is we had a great thing going in Newtown and Newtown Square. Don't go to Newtown. I accidentally did that my first time driving home. It's 45 minutes the other way. So
I think
Newtown
it's
Square.
in Bucks County. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first time driving home from the field. I just thought I typed it into my Waze GPS and I didn't put Newtown Square. I just typed in Newtown, and it
You're
took
like,
me
where
to
the
the.
hell am I?
I got off an exit, and it's like take a right, and destination will be on. I was like, no, it won't. Like my house isn't off this exit, and then it's like, oh shoot. But that's what I get for driving and talking, you know.
I always forget that like after like a Sunday day game, you guys just have like a full afternoon and night off.
As long as you're at home on Monday. So as long as the home stand carries over, then you're good. So there were a few times it lined up. Sometimes the Sunday game would end, and as soon as the game, usually when we travel, I get ready to get on the bus and everything. And my wife and daughter wait for me, and then hang out with them until the bus leaves. But on Sundays when we're leaving, I get done with the game. I go up in full uniform, tell them goodbye, and then they take off to the Newtown game and take off out there, and then I get ready to leave. But yeah, there were a few times I was able to play my game and bum rush over there. Other times I was scared to show my face, because they'll tell me how it is, and I might have blew the game on Sunday, and they'll let me know. So we'll see.
That might just be like that's just like Phillies fans in general. They'll just be very like, would you ever be sitting out at a game and people would just be like, what happened?
I mean, the players for sure, they'll come up and
Yeah.
ask me. Like I remember I went out to their game. We had I can't remember if we had Sunday off. Yeah, we had Sunday off for it was football played during the DS or whatever, so we had Sunday off and went out there, and it was after Teoscar had taken me deep, and I probably got 70 plus comments from the guys about Teoscar. So they keep you humble for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
um, a couple Phillies things for you. Like I saw on Twitter because I think it was like Otto Kemp had posted like a Instagram story about just like we're gonna miss the book club when you got traded. Um,
Yeah.
what kind of book club was that? That sounds awesome.
No, it's just that's what we call just the hangout.
Okay.
People come to our house or my hotel room. It's just Strom's room's the book club. That's we just sit there and talk shop. That's all it is.
I like that.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, I don't think I've ever gotten a chance to ask you about this. Was at one point your Twitter had turned into a wildfire you can't contain when you try to help Bryce collect baseball cards. What
Yeah.
was the end result of that?
Well, I have now deleted social media because I'm just it's too much. But that's not why I deleted social media. I'm on it way too much. Maybe during the season I'll get back on it when I'm on the road and everything. But right now I've just kind of been like, yeah, I'm spending too much time on here. Need to get rid of it. But the Harper tweet we're sitting in the clubhouse one day, and I was trying to find a card of mine, and a lot of people tag me in tweets, whatever, whenever they pull my card. And I showed Zach Wheeler got into cards, and I showed Zach. I was like, yo, I'm trying to get this guy got this card of you. I'm trying to get it, like trade him, whatever, on Twitter. And Harp was sitting there with us talking. He goes, "Hey, you think you can find cool cards of mine?" I was like, "Harp, if I just like I said, with how many ties I have to the hobby, if I just tweeted that you're looking for your rare cards, I said by the end of this game we'll have 1,000 to pick from." Well, I was off by like 10,000 because I tweeted it and I said rare cards. Well, I should have been more specific because rare cards, to be fair, could be a parallel to 999. It's like, well, there's 1,000 of them. That is rare. You are correct, but I was meaning more of like one of ones, one of fives, stuff like that. And we ended up getting him his one of one home run derby uh, auto relic card, and it was the home run derby his dad threw to him in Washington that he won. So that was like when I saw that card on my feed, I reached out to the guy, and like I told Harper I have a mess in my feeds, but this card you have to get. And it just happened that we were in Washington at the time, and that's where the guy was. And so it all worked out good. But then yeah, there's a lot of people I've left on red, and I'm sorry, but there's just it was way too much, way too fast. And this offseason, Stott was looking for his, and so he sent out the tweet, and I retweeted it, and was very clear to help Stott,
Only
but
him.
message him.
I remember like I think we DM'd on Instagram a lot, but then like you were just like you have to stop DMing me on here. We have to just like my Instagram DMs and
Yes.
Twitter DMs are just dudes with cards.
Bro, like I think for a week straight at least, my notifications weren't even a number, it was just the dots. And I was like, dude, this is getting egregious. So yeah, I don't know how some of these social media influencers do that. I get anxiety when I open my Twitter and I have 20 plus messages and it's like, yo, what the heck? I feel like I don't know, maybe it's the Midwest values in me. I feel like I need to
Yep.
respond to everyone. And then I feel really bad when I don't. And then it's like, well, now it's been 3 weeks and I haven't responded. They haven't responded. Let's just leave it at that. That's,
Do you remember? I saw this on Twitter. It got pretty. I got a ton of people involved. It was like there was I think it was like Philly's Muse would like DM you have a nice Friday every week for like a year and a half.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, I, I, on social media, like I will respond to people, especially if it's your account. Like the Phillies Muse guy, I don't even know how it started. It was I don't know. I think I blew a game Thursday, and he messaged me Friday morning and was like, "Hey, hope you have a great Friday." I was like, thanks, man, thanks. And then like every Friday, he'd keep hitting me with it, and I was just like, well, he's not being an asshole. He's being nice. So I'll be nice too. Like the second you cross the line, I'll cross the line with you. You're not going to like it, but I'll cross the line with you and set you straight usually. I would say Brandon Marsh, actually, he gets a kick out of it on my social media. He'd look at my DMs because if you come into my DMs, it's basically like you knocking on my door, is how I view it. Like and with the settings I have, like you had to follow me in order to message me. And then two, you have to be an account. You can't be like a burner account. So like your face is on there, your name's on there. If
Yep.
if everything checks out, like you're standing on a hill in my DMs, I'll get on that hill with you and we'll talk it out. So like I have no problem doing that with anyone at any time. But when you create an account and you have no followers and then you just message me, I just delete it. I don't even open it. But if you're willing to put a picture of you and your family up there and you want to come in and talk shit about me, like I'll talk it with you and we'll go back and forth. 90% of my DM battles end with sorry man, I was just heated, lost some money, like wish you nothing but the best. And Marcy would just crack up. He'd be like, Strom, you actually say this stuff? I'm like, dude, I'm not wrong. I didn't start it, first of all. And second of all, like I'm not wrong what I said, am I? And he's like, no, but it didn't have to be said. And I was like, well, read the next message. And then it's the guy apologizing and like wishing me luck. like, so, so yeah, I've had my fair share of Twitter battles, and I always joke with people if smack talking was an Olympic sport, I think I would be on Team USA for sure.
I do miss seeing some of your Twitter replies. So like I hope at some point because they would go they would go crazy viral.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think once and two, like I remember. So I'll keep him out. I'll keep his name out of it. But Skip Schumacher told me the story of one of his ex teammates who deleted social media because he thought it was too much noise. Well, then like for 4 or 5 starts, he didn't do too well, and he was like, you know what? I miss talking my shit. Like, because if people would talk bad about me, I would then get on there and talk shit. Therefore, it would kind of motivate me that I have to back it up in my next start. So I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm kind of that way where like if I say it, I'm gonna do it. And it's more out of stubbornness than it is out of like athletic ability or like ability period. So I don't know. If you talk your talk, you better walk your walk. That's kind of how I was raised. And so once you put it out there, you got to do something about it.
I always just think from a fan's perspective, it's so like refreshing seeing like athletes that are willing to like use social media just like a normal person. Like there's only like a handful of guys off the top of my head that are like Brent Rooker's a big Twitter guy, like Vinny Pasquantino is willing to mix it up on there. And like as fans, we love that because like I'm on the bird all day. It's cool that like we
Right.
have like access to these guys. And also like I don't do you think that like baseball players in general, like you're one of the few people that is very like media savvy. Like you're willing to use these tools available to you. Why do you
Yeah,
think more guys aren't like that?
I think it's there's a lot of media training that like you get your typical answers of, we just need to hit the ball better, need to pitch the ball better. You get that typical thing, and I don't I don't mean this in a bad way to anybody, but I don't think guys feel comfortable being themselves, if that makes sense. Like, I think it's almost like, how am I going to be accepted? Because I'll be the first one to admit, like, hunting is one of my passions and one of my favorite things. But I don't post it on social media because I know the look it gets is like people view hunting as murder, and it's like there's so much more to hunting than just the killing of an animal. And so I just stay away from that. It's kind of a controversial topic. And I know I'm true to myself, so if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the way I see it's done. Like animals get shot, so like you see hunting posts all the time of people hunting. There's TV shows on it, so like you see it, but then the second I post it, it's just kind of like I don't know how it just gets a bad look in some people's eyes, and then I choose not to do it because I can't do it the right way, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't just want to post half of it. I'd want to post the real thing because in hunting, bad shots happen. So yeah, there are bad things that happen, and I don't want to hide those from people who are getting interested in hunting because you have to be able to deal with that. Like you have to see the whole thing. But I just think it's the noise. People don't want to deal with the noise, and baseball's already stressful enough. Like some guys can't handle 17 guys telling them to go home and throw a toaster in the bath with them. Like they can't handle it and they don't want to see it. Where I would message a guy and be like, dude, my toaster wouldn't fit in my bathtub or something. I don't know. I just come up with something silly or like I don't know. It's be true to yourself, have fun, and again, talk smack. All my friends like it's It's probably why I have a few friends because I talk so much smack, and the ones who are my friends are the ones who talk smack back. So that's kind of how it is for me.
I just feel like guys never, yeah, like you said, like they're too afraid to like show off their personality and like show off like who they really are, to like the
I
fan
don't
base
I don't think
online.
it's afraid. I don't think it's fair to say afraid as much as it is like the follow-up questions. Like, Matt, why did you text that or why did you message a guy on Twitter eats star? It's like, well, I don't want to like if you're not on Twitter, I'm not answering it. Like it is what it is. So I think that's the biggest thing is the follow-up question. Well, like why is that your answer? Why is that your thought process? And then it's just kind of exhausting and the lack of common sense these days, I think too, is what makes guys hide from it. Because again, like the media will spin it any which way they can. Kind of like with my hunting stuff. If I post me shooting a deer, it'll get spun somewhere that I murdered a deer in a pasture. And it's like, no, like what? This is a free range deer running the state of Kansas. Like, but yeah, I don't even know. I think you're seeing it more when guys retire with podcasts and stuff like that. Like, I mean, even with Hosmer, like you see him
Yeah.
doing his show and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think we're gonna see it change here in the next decade where you get more personalities and the biggest thing is for fans to understand our Twitter accounts are just like their Twitter accounts for the most part. Like, yo, don't come in here and like talk bad about my daughter. Like my family sees all this stuff and they don't need to read all this. So I think that it's just kind of a gray area right now that most guys choose to stay away from.
My favorite new thing of the past like year or so has been when Bryce Harper joined TikTok. Just he's baking.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff in his house. And one, I think his very first one, he was just like blind ranking colleges, and I was like, "Is this the real? Is this verified? Is this him?" Just at the clubhouse, like, all right, I like Clemson at number 4. I'm like, what? What
Yeah.
am I watching?
Yeah,
But it's great.
I've never gotten on TikTok, so I didn't see any of that stuff, but yeah, and it's kind of like an out, like for me, getting on Twitter after a game, it's kind of like an outlet. Just, I mean, or book club guys come in, we talk about ball, and it is what it is. Like it's yeah, a stress reliever, but for some, it's a stressor.
Yeah, that's true. I had a couple more Phillies things for you.
Hmm.
I was listening to part of my take a while ago, and they had Tyler Phillips on there, former teammate of yours, and he had mentioned that you specifically had helped with his transition from the rotation to the bullpen. And just like instilling confidence, just like throw your best stuff out there. He's like a dominant, like late inning reliever in Miami now. Like, how cool has that been seeing his transition from, had a tough time starting to what he's doing now?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it great for him, and I think the big thing for him is like I don't I mean this genuinely. Like he's created a persona that fits him, if that makes sense. Like he wants to be the high energy, the stopper, so to speak. He wants to be that guy. So he's created the persona. He believes in the persona, and he's going to attack with it. So it's cool to see that. I mean, cool to hear him say that, I guess, because I'm a Q and A kind of guy. I'm not gonna grab you by the shoulder and tell you how to do it. But if you ask me questions, which he would, if you do that, I'll answer them, and I'll answer them how as genuinely as I can. And that's one thing I think a lot of guys respect about me is I'm gonna say it how it is and how I feel versus what you want to hear and how you want to feel.
It is interesting though. We may have talked about this a little bit, but just like the difference is from the rotation to the bullpen, and I think you have a really cool perspective as somebody
Yeah.
who's done a lot of both. I always feel
Yeah.
like there's this stigma with the bullpen. It's like, oh God, I don't want to get sent out there. But as somebody who's
Yeah.
made like a career and an all-star in the bullpen, are you ever just like, guys, it's not that bad? Like, it's really not.
No, I mean it's you have to learn like again, my the best way I can compare it is starters are the SWAT team who get all the information and how we're going to breach the house and what we're going to do. They have a plan that they are going to execute. Us relievers are sent out to a cage and we are just sitting in it waiting for a phone to ring, which to me would be like you sleeping and your house alarm just goes off in the middle of the night. Like my first thing I'm doing is grabbing my piece off of my nightstand. Like it's just grab and go. So as a reliever, you better be ready for a home invasion. And as a starter, you got 4 days to plan out your execution of attack. So, to me, I've always loved the fireman role of like you're just kind of sitting there watching the game go on, and all of a sudden a double and a walk, and it's the phone rings, and that's you. Like you didn't see it coming; it just kind of happens quick, and I've kind of always enjoyed that. But there's also some enjoyment to shoving it down a team's throat for 3 times through a lineup as a starter and walking off knowing you're gonna eat a full bag of seeds on the top step tomorrow.
your, your analogy of a home invasion. I'm gonna be laughing about that for a while. But you're right, because like some guys I feel like aren't wired to be sitting in a cage on edge like for well, and also like I want to get your perspective on this. Like I just had my buddy Anthony K on who was like a mop up guy reliever,
Yeah,
and he said he hated it because he's like, I have
yeah,
no idea when I'm going in. The
yeah.
like it doesn't make any sense. Like, have you
Right.
seen that where guys struggle in those kind of roles of not knowing?
Yeah, I mean, I that was kind of a battle when I first got to Philly with the relievers we had. We had 4 closers, and like what makes a closer great is probably the routine and them knowing they have the ninth inning. Like I remember watching Craig Kimbrell every day come out in the 5th inning, sit down. He would get his coffee and he'd sit there and sip his coffee until he had to use the bathroom. Then he'd go in the bathroom. And then when he came out of the bathroom, he'd start his stretching. When he's done with his stretching, he'd sit up on the bench and he'd have his pants pulled up over his knee, tie his shoes. And as soon as that phone rang after the last out in the 8th, he'd slam his pants down and he'd go out there and beat Craig Kimbrell. So he had a routine and he was very good with that routine. There's other guys who you see struggle with the routine that, in my opinion, would probably be better as just the random relievers and just, hey, we're not going to tell you when to throw, like go, go, go. Um, this year, I mean, I felt so bad for Joe Ross multiple times throughout the year because we'd have a starter get in trouble in the second inning or start throwing. It's kind of like that 27, 30 pitches in an inning. You kind of have to be ready in the bullpen because you don't want a guy throwing 40 pitches in an inning. Like that's just kind of puts them in danger. And so I remember multiple times Joe stretching out in the third and then getting sat down, and the starter ends up going 6 innings, and we turn it over to Kirk, myself, Alvy, or whatever. And I mean, then the next day he would be getting ready in the fourth, and then sit down, and then he'd pitch the ninth, and it's like, dude, I feel so bad. Like, so I think the long man, in my opinion, is the hardest role in the bullpen because of that. Like, you don't know when you're going to throw, how much you throw that people don't see. Like, I bet Joe Ross had 40% more pitches this year in the bullpen than he did on the field, if that makes sense. So, like, if he threw 100 pitches, he probably really threw 140. Like, it's just crazy how much throwing those guys have to do because you're kind of the safety net. Like, that's your role is you're either coming in to save the relievers, eat innings to save the relievers, or you're coming in because the starter didn't go long, or you're coming in because the game's too out of hand and we don't want to use the relievers. So you have all these scenarios that can happen in the flip of a switch, or it's that's the worst. I don't want to say the worst job. The hardest job as a pitcher, in my opinion, would be being the long man in a bullpen.
Absolutely. Yeah, the unsung heroes, because you're right. Like the amount of bullets that they use probably in the warm-ups in the bullpen, and then if they have to sit down and stand back up again 3 innings later, like
Yeah.
it's all about like adrenaline too, right? Because the phone rings, get hot. Just kidding. Like that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. I believe Joe one game got hot in the fourth, then sat down, and then was told he was going to pitch the ninth. And then we ended up scoring 3 or 4 runs. And then they sat him down. And it was like, dude, he just threw a full game in the bullpen over 2 innings. And so yeah, we call it the dry hump. And you got to be real familiar with that as a long man.
I think O'Hearn's talked about this from pinch hitting.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I'd imagine. Yep.
Get ready, just go in the cage, take some swings. 4 innings will need you. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
all right.
Exactly.
A couple last ones for you.
Yeah.
Is doubling and tripling up on the same pitch and at bat, like, have you done that before? Because like Dan Straley, like it might apply to you too, because like JT was his catcher back then. He was like they had an at bat against Joey Bats where he threw like 10 sliders in a row.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah. I mean, I remember a couple times when uh like again I don't shake, so like just and now with the pitch come I don't even really look in at the catcher. I'm just kind of looking at like the grass in between us, and I remember slider, 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 and I'm like, yo, are we gonna throw another slider? It's like slider. I'm like, all right, like 4 row, here we go. So I mean I've done it multiple times, I'm sure, and like they don't stand out to me that much because again I don't shake. Like JT he dots his I's and crosses all of his T's. Like he does all of his research. You see him every day in the lunchroom, eating his lunch, going through his scouting report, doing his stuff. So the trust I had in him was 100%. And if JT called it, we're throwing it because JT called it. So it was. I just kind of I like to go brain dead on the mound and just try to get him out.
Yeah, that would be to hear the same pitch 30 times and it'd be just like, okay.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Unless you
Um,
had like a Duran heater, then I'm sure it'd be exciting.
then you could spam it every time.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
there's a big trend on social media where it's like 2016 you versus today.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever asked this. Like 2016 you look like you and I had the same haircut and we shaved every day. And then
For sure.
obviously now 10 years later, what led to the change?
So growing up, my brother always had long hair, and I mean, I had shaggy hair growing up, and then when I got to college, I mean, I got told by Coach Murray to get a haircut on day one. So I got my haircut on day one, and Coach Murray had a clean shaven rule, had to shave your face every day. Then when I got drafted by Kansas City, it was the same thing: hair off the neck of your shirt or the collar of your shirt, and clean shaven in the minor leagues. So it's kind of something I always did. And then once you got to the big leagues in Kansas City, you could grow out your facial hair. You could do whatever you wanted. So I got to the big leagues in 16. And then again in 17, when I came back to camp, I felt like I was fighting for a job and didn't want to step on any toes. And you have those looming options. So the last thing I want to do is show up with facial hair, get option, and have to shave. So I just showed up clean shaven, short hair, and just went from there. But then when I got traded to San Diego, there are no rules out there. So I just kind of let it go. My brother had always had long hair, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see what happens, and I've let it go since. And now the beard's kind of getting out of control. But if you go back and look from 17 on, it's like I've gotten more hair in every picture in spring training. So this year I need to let the beard stay out a little longer and then take my picture, and I'm gonna trim it up because it's getting a little ridiculous.
Every single year, the hair and the beard gets longer. It's so funny.
Yeah,
Um,
it's gonna be a pretty cool flip book when I'm done with my transition from year one to hopefully I make it 15 years. That's the goal. So we'll see.
but like in the summertime, though, you miss the 2016 Kansas City days. You're like, I feel the breeze.
Uh, you know, I I I haven't really experienced that. I guess there were a couple times last year, especially when we played in Tampa outside. That was miserable. I was sitting in the bullpen and I'm like, dang, a hair tie right now would be nice just to get my hair off my neck. But no, I've kind of just embraced it, done what I've done, and not gonna lie, the beard this fall in the tree stand, the beard was nice. Keeping the wind off the neck. So this is definitely gonna have to be a November thing for sure, at least every year.
The Royals, I guess, have since softened their stance on facial hair and hair. I'm assuming, yeah.
Uh, I know. I mean, when I was there, the big leaguers could do anything. When I was there, you could. So as long as I don't get optioned, I think I get to keep my hair and beard. So we'll be good.
Love that. All right, my last question, and this has been great. What has been your stance on the Nic Cage meme? Like, were you against it at first, and it kind of came around on it later? Like, how did that work?
I mean, I wasn't against it at all. The funny thing to me is how many people think that the original meme, how many people think that's my face. Like that's Nicolas Cage's face photoshopped on. And what's hilarious to me is it's not even that good of a Photoshop job.
Not.
I mean, great meme, great everything. Props to whoever did it, but it's not my face. So I'd crack up every time. I still get it sent to me. Like, how many years has it been? That was 23, I think, was when it was. So it's been 3 years. This meme's been getting sent to me, and it's just wild to me how many people think that's my face.
Well, you played into it too, because like you had the glove with the Declaration of Independence on it, didn't you?
Yeah. Still got it, and we actually had one. Was gonna. I'll probably bust it out sometime this year. So keep your eyes out. But there's a cool Con Air glove they made for me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and a matching belt that has it has his inmate number stitched into it and everything, and then the pink teddy bear is on the glove. So they did a good job. I might have to show up one day in a Canadian tuxedo with a wife beater on or something to the field and bust that out. I mean, it's a denim glove. It's looks like it's made out of denim, so it would go good with our City Connect jerseys, I think. So
You're gonna break the internet. You're gonna
yeah,
own the
well,
internet that day.
yeah, we'll see that one, but I haven't decided if I'll show up in the Canadian tuxedo or not, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Is Con Air your favorite Nick Cage movie?
No, probably National Treasure, but I don't even think I've seen Con Air end to end. I've seen bits and pieces, but movies are so hard for me. I can't sit down for 90 minutes. That's too long. It's too long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man, there's been some good ones. So yeah, you should maybe this off
Yeah.
season try to catch back up on some of these. Go watch Marty Supreme or something.
Yeah, we'll have to put a few on the docket for sure.
Well, dude, this has been incredible. Like every time you come on, it's just like the best time ever. So can't
Right
thank you
on.
enough for everything you've done for me in the pod over the years. You're the man. So I really, really appreciate it.
Of course, of course. Hit me up if you're ever able to get out to a game this summer.